Why don't we get things underway? My name is Miles Cochran. I'm a public information officer here in Caltrans District 1. I represent Humboldt and Del Norte counties. And we're here for a public meeting for this project, the Wilson Creek Restoration and SPGA Wall Project. There's a draft initial study with proposed negative declaration and draft section 4F evaluation, which has been published for public review. And if that all doesn't really make sense to you, it will in the coming moments as we kind of explain what's going on here. So public comments are being accepted until August 1st this year. And the purpose of this meeting is to allow the public another opportunity to learn about this project during the public circulation period. Just a few housekeeping items about this meeting. So we're going to be in listen-only mode. That means we're going to have some presenters giving us some good information about this project. But then after they present, there's going to be an opportunity to ask questions. And here in WebEx, there's a great little feature to raise your hand. And whenever we open up that Q&A period, you could use that feature and you'll be called on for questions. This presentation is going to be shared on the Caltrans website. So please be advised this meeting is being recorded. This is our Title VI statement. So Caltrans ensures that no person in the state of California is excluded from participation in, denied the benefits of, or otherwise subjected to discrimination in Caltrans programs, policies, procedures, activities, and services on the grounds of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. So yeah, we really want to hear from you. The purpose of this meeting is to give you some information about the project, and our role as the public is, commenting on these projects. So if you're having trouble finding the documents that we're going to be talking about today, you can reach out to me. My information, you can just Google Caltrans District 1, Miles Cochran, and I can facilitate that for you. You can also find the documents at tinyurl.com/D1projects. And we really do want to hear what you think. So if you have any comments about this proposed projects, you can mail them, use snail mail. There's an address there on your screen with attention to Tara. And then there's also an email address where you can send these comments to before August 1st, and that goes to Tara as well. So again, the deadline is August 1st, and I'll give you a couple minutes to jot down Tara's email or that snail mail address as well before we go to the next slide. All right, without further ado, I'm going to hand things over to Liana, our project manager. Take it away, Liana.
Thanks, Miles. Hi, everyone. My name is Liana Winkler-Prinz. I am the project manager for the Wilson Creek Restoration Project. I was going to touch on this project's purpose and its need. The purpose of this project is shown here. It's to restore the roadway to pre-storm dam conditions, to reduce the risk of future damage, and to improve resilience of the highway facility. And regarding the project's need, in 2019 is when this area experienced very heavy rains that triggered landslide movement, which caused significant damage to the roadway, which is shown here in this photograph on the right. The location has a history of recurring slope failures and associated damage, and future storm events are likely to contribute to the risk of future roadway and structure loss. And now I'm going to pass it over to June, our geotechnical specialist, to talk about the landslide at the project site.
Hi, everyone. I'm June, and I'm the project geotechnical engineer. I will now go over some of the key details of the landslide affecting the highway. The project site is located at the southern edge of the Last Chance Grade Slide Complex. The site is in Franciscan melange geology. This melange consists of a mix of highly sheared siltstones and shale, interspersed with intact sandstone blocks of varying sizes. As you guys probably already know, this terrain that is underlain by melange is prone to earth flows. The earth flow at this location that is damaging the highway is approximately 800 feet wide. The head of this slide intersects the road surface, causing an offset crack and settlement that is impacting both the south and northbound lanes. The slide has been measured to be moving at a depth of 90 feet below the highway and tows out onto the beach. Additionally, the base of the slide along the beach shows signs of ongoing coastal erosion, which in turn exacerbates the global slide movement and creates numerous smaller nested slides.
Hello, I'm Yad. I'll go over the design of this project. The project is located on US Highway 101 in Del Norte County, California, between post miles 12.6 and 13.2, which start near the DeMartin Beach parking lot and approximately a half-mile north at the Vista Point. The scenic stretch of highway is vital for regional connectivity, but it faces unique geologic challenges. A 2019 storm triggered a landslide that caused substantial settlement and vertical displacement of the roadway, along with damage to the shoulder, extending through the southbound lanes and into the northbound lane. A value analysis was conducted to minimize environmental impacts, costs, and provide safe and reliable transportation access. The goal was to stabilize a critical quarter-mile stretch from post mile 12.69 to 12.95, immediately north of the Wilson Creek Bridge. This will be done through a modified roadway alignment and construction of retaining walls to contain the ongoing earth flow and ensure long-term stability. The project will increase the curve radius from approximately 1,000 to 1,700 feet, a 30-foot shift east, which allows for a smoother and safer driving experience. To shift the road east, a cut will be required that will be supported by a 600-foot long, 19-foot high soil nail wall. This type of wall is supported with steel bars grouted into the mountainside. The western shoulder below southbound 101 will be supported by a 700-foot long, 55-foot high soldier pile ground anchor wall, or SPGA wall. This robust structure uses deep piles and ground anchors to stabilize the slope and will be buried, leaving only the top 10 feet of wall exposed to the beach. The image on this slide shows the proposed roadway looking north, where you can see the exposed portion of the SPGA wall with the soil nail wall in the background. The project also makes minor adjustments to the passing lanes. The northbound passing lane will begin immediately north of the soil nail wall, reducing its length from 1.54 miles to 1.26 miles. And the southbound passing lane will have a standard lane drop ending at Wilson Creek Bridge. 2 culvert systems are proposed to be replaced within the project limits. Additionally, a bioswale will be installed to treat impervious runoff and will connect to an existing outlet. The project will be constructed in 2 main phases for the construction of each wall, with a final stage for the remaining roadwork. Construction is proposed to start in 2028, ending in 2031. Last Chance Grade, a large tunnel project just north of this location, is anticipated to start in 2031 and will be in close coordination with this project. The first stage of this project will widen the highway eastward and construct the soil nail wall. During this phase, 2-way traffic will remain open from Wilson Creek Bridge to the Vista Point at PM 13.2. Once the widening and soil nail wall are complete, traffic will shift eastward to allow the construction of the SPGA wall below the western shoulder. This final stage will use standard traffic control for final paving, delineation, and any remaining work. The project will utilize maintenance pullouts within the project limits for staging and equipment storage. Excavated material will temporarily be stockpiled at the existing southbound pullout at post mile 12.98 or at an environmentally cleared location off-site. Next are the aesthetic treatments for the project.
Good afternoon. My name is Dina Ilatar. I am the bridge architect on this project. The following slides show examples of aesthetic treatment that are being considered for this project. Final treatment will be determined during the permitting process. When selecting aesthetic treatment for wall types, concrete barriers, and railings, we consider the natural beauty of the surrounding landscape and the large project corridor as a whole. Our design reflects context sensitivity that considers natural landscape, cultural history, and recreational use. We choose materials, textures, and colors that will blend in and complement the natural forms of the landscape. For the soil nail retaining wall on the east side of the road, we proposed a wood grain textured concrete facing that would be stained with natural brown color to help it blend into the natural surroundings. At the base of the wall will be a concrete barrier, which provides an opportunity to feature a local tribal pattern, and its relief. This slide shows an example of what a relief pattern would look like. The final pattern would be one determined through consultation with the local tribes. For the SPGA wall on the west side of the road will feature a concrete barrier. A natural rock texture facing is being considered for the barrier. Color and texture would be selected based on the surrounding color and textures in order to help man-made elements blend into the natural landscape. The natural stone look would complement the rugged, rocky coastline that is specific to the section of the Highway 101. Similar to the concrete barrier, the barrier railing will also feature natural textures and wood colors. For the concrete barrier railing, a wood grain texture is being considered. The railing would be stained with a natural brown color selected to blend with the surrounding landscape and with a rock textured aesthetic treatment. The wood grain would complement the texture of the sawmill wall on the east side of the highway, as well as the textures of the redwood and Douglas fir trees that help to define the beauty and character of this area. Next is circulation and initial study. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tara McAuliffe, and I'm the environmental coordinator for the project. I will be talking about the circulation of the initial study with proposed negative declaration and the draft Section 4F evaluation. Going over the schedule briefly, this draft environmental document was published on July 3rd, 2025 for public review, and the public comment period ends on August 1st, 2025. We expect the final draft of the environmental document to be completed by July 15th, 2026. Per the California Environmental Quality Act and the National Environmental Policy Act, the project must go through an environmental review process to evaluate the project's potential to impact the environment. Based on the analysis of the environmental resources, it is anticipated that the project would not have a significant impact on the environment. Therefore, the document being circulated is an initial study with a proposed negative declaration. In addition, the Section 4F evaluation has been circulated as Appendix E of the document for public review. The full document can be found on Caltrans District 1 project's webpage, which is linked again here. To summarize the document's conclusions, the proposed project is anticipated to have less than significant impacts to aesthetics, biological resources, greenhouse gas emissions, and hydrology and water quality. The project is anticipated to have no impacts to the remaining resources listed on the right. These conclusions were made with the knowledge that the standard measures and best management practices that are listed in Section 1.7 of the document would be implemented as part of the project. The Section 4F resources discussed in the evaluation are related to public land and recreational facilities nearby. Because the transportation use of the Section 4F resources does not adversely affect the activities, features, and attributes that qualify the resources for protection, the work required for the project would constitute de minimis impacts to the resources under Section 4F. Record searches, field surveys, habitat assessments, and agency coordination and consultation were conducted to determine whether federally or state protected species have the potential to be present in the project area. These species are listed in Appendix C of the initial study and are discussed further in the plant species, animal species, and threatened and endangered species sections, and also the species tables in Appendix D. Species considered in the biological analysis include the marbled murrelet, northern spotted owl, coho salmon, and other protected fish, mammals, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and plants. The project would not have a substantial adverse effect either directly or through habitat modification on these species. Nearby public access points with the project are identified on this map, and from north to south they include number 1, which is an unofficial trail located north of the proposed SPGA wall, and the trail utilizes a Caltrans pullout for access. Access to this trail would be closed during construction as the Caltrans pullout is within the lane closure and construction zone. After construction is complete, the trail would be accessible again. Number 2 is a section of the beach north of Wilson Creek, which would be closed for 2 to 3 days. This closure would occur in the winter and is necessary to ensure public safety while trees and vegetation are removed upslope. Number 3 is the California Coastal Trail, which would be closed temporarily while construction is occurring adjacent to and on the trail. The entrance to the trail would be modified to accommodate the realignment of the highway, the soil mill wall, and the bioswale. The California Coastal Trail would remain open and accessible after construction in the area is complete. Number 4 is the DeMartin Beach picnic area, which would remain open and accessible for the duration of the project. After the project is complete, access to nearby recreational resources will be improved for pedestrians and vehicles as compared to existing conditions. Improvements would include wider shoulders, more consistent traffic speeds due to the reduction in passing lanes, reduced maintenance needs, and a more reliable roadway, which would ultimately enhance safety and access to local recreation. And I will pass the mic over to Liz Hodges to talk about cultural resources.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Hodges. I'm the project archaeologist, and I'm also District 1's Native American coordinator. Through thorough and careful efforts to identify historic properties, informed a design of the project which will avoid cultural resources. Identification efforts included archival research, internal records review, and outreach to local tribes, historical societies, and other potentially interested parties. The photo here shows Wilson Creek before construction of the modern highway in the 1930s. And the project will avoid any impacts to cultural resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Okay, I will briefly touch on the project schedule. Our project is currently in the environmental phase, which is depicted by green on this table shown here. Last month, as Tara described, the draft environmental document was circulated to the public. In approximately 1 year, the environmental phase will come to a close. Next is the design phase, which is shown in blue on this table. That will begin next summer and last approximately 2 years, with the construction contract being awarded in summer of 2028. It is anticipated that minor construction activities such as brush clearing would occur in fall of 2028, and construction would begin in earnest in spring of 2029. Construction and associated traffic control is slated to occur during the 2029, 2030, and 2031 seasons. However, Caltrans will be exploring opportunities to accelerate the construction schedule with the goal to have lesser impacts to traffic during the 2031 season, as the Last Chance Grade project, which Yad mentioned, is scheduled to begin construction that year in 2031. If you haven't heard of the Last Chance Grade project, this is a very large project just to the north that proposes to construct a 1.1 mile tunnel bypass along the northern end of Last Chance Grade, and it will go around the most problematic series of landslides on the grade. Construction of the Last Chance Grade project will take approximately 8 years. If you have any future inquiries about the project schedule or general project questions, please do feel free to contact me, Liana. My email address is shown here at the bottom. If you have inquiries that are related to the draft environmental document, your best contact is Tara, which is described again on the next slide. But just some reminders that additional copies of the draft environmental document and related studies are available at the District 1 office on Union Street, or it can be downloaded at the website that's linked here. And we do want to hear your comments. If you prefer written comments to be submitted, we have the address here. Please put attention to Tara. If you submit comments electronically, please email Tara at her email address, which is also included here. And reminder that comments are due by August 1st.